We all remember when Synology released their first hard drives and everyone were asking, are they going to be locking us into their ecosystem? A few years ago they talked to Android Central, they said no, Synology is not enforcing its own hard drives. So we trusted them until 1 month ago when Synology signed contract with Toshiba for partnering regarding hard drive manufacturing. And then 1 month later, today, Synology press release shows that Synology is actually turning their backs on the home user. So let's go through this publication and see what's going on. And they say, following success of high-performance series, the company is now increasingly relying on Synology-owned storage media, which means Synology is getting used to higher profits that they are getting. You can't get higher performance from a drive that you are relabeling from Toshiba or Seagate. And they are saying they'll roll these changes out in 2025, where everyone will be benefiting from higher performance, where they're going to be benefiting from higher profit margins and more efficient support, which means they can turn away people that used exactly the same drives from Seagate or Toshiba, but now they don't need to give them support. Okay, we'll give you benefit of doubt. If you're ripping out drives from WT, all those shucked white label drives that are SMR type of drives, it might complicate the performance on a NAS, but most of the time this is not the case. They say with their drives they've seen significant benefits for our customers, which means more profits made. By forcing people to use their drives on Plus series NASs, we will be increasing security and performance, which means if you do not use Synology drives, we will disable security for you and performance. So from 2025 you can only use Synology drives or certified third-party drives, which is probably going to be Toshiba drive, which they are relabeling. It will be funny if they don't allow Toshiba drives, since they will be using their drives with their label on it. Oh, but don't worry, if you got 2024 model or before, there is no restrictions on that NAS. And this is also a loophole, so if you want to keep this functionality, you need to own older NAS and then you can migrate those old drives to a new NAS. But when you choose to replace one of those drives in your new NAS, you will not be allowed if it's not listed on their compatibility list. So if you refuse to use Synology drives, they will not allow you to create pools. They will also disable deduplication feature. Deduplication allows you to save space on your hard drive if the data is repetitious. They'll also disable lifespan analysis, which is basically smart data. And they'll also not allow you to do automated firmware updates on these hard drives. So I was curious, how often do we actually get firmware updates? I got the Seagate IronWolf 4TB drive from April 2019, and after 6 years of use, there's not even a single firmware update released. In real life, we only get firmware updates when there is something discovered about the manufacturing of that particular drive, if there was some manufacturing issue that needs to be resolved, unless it's Hubble Space Telescope that was faulty and needed to be fixed. Google, how was biggest telescope in space called?
The Webb Space Telescope is the largest.
All this speech sounded very good and convincing for some people. So I was thinking I'm going to go through all those promises and check is it actually true or not. So if you want to buy Synology drives, it's going to cost you on average 20, 30, 40% more per drive. They themselves bulk buy those drives from Toshiba, so they get a great discount. And now they are also adding extra percentage from consumer, so it's like a win-win situation for them. Massive profiteering. Okay, many of us can swallow the bigger cost, but there are other things that can happen. And for example, if one of those drives fail, how quickly can you replace that drive? Can you get it same day or next day from Synology? So I was thinking I'm going to have a look. So if I need to replace 20TB drive, there is one drive available in stock. Good luck if you need a couple of drives or if you're not in the same region where I am. If you're allowed to use third-party drives, you can go to a local shop and get that drive replaced within minutes. Okay, next up is data recovery. If something happens and you need to recover your data, you'll need to pay Toshiba or other service providers to get your data back. If you buy Seagate IronWolf Pro drives, you get free data recovery included in that deal. So if something happens to your drives, send them back to Seagate, they'll recover your data. Synology actually have stripped you away from this option now. We actually made a video a few years ago on NAS Compare's channel showing how quickly Seagate actually recovered the data. We dropped those drives down the stairs and they were still able to recover that data. The next up is 5-year warranty. Most of their drives support only 3-year warranty. If you want 5-year warranty, you will need to go for enterprise type of drives from Synology. They cost more, they are louder. But if you chose Seagate IronWolf Pro, you would get 5-year warranty. The next argument is Toshiba, and Synology is not the market leader. Synology themselves are not making hard drives. Synology doesn't have expertise, experience. They have never made a single hard drive in their life. They cannot claim that their firmware is better than a dedicated Seagate or WD made firmware. They are doing this for a living. Next up is noise. Everyone knows that Toshiba drives are louder than other manufacturer drives. If you're not sure about that, you can go to NAS Compares. I've made a list of hard drives and how they perform. And these are just a few sound examples recorded for you to compare. Another thing that Synology promised us to give is their health monitoring, which is actually something they removed from Synology, because this is something Seagate gives you for free on other NAS platforms. So you can use this technology to prevent any problems with your hard drives or fix something if there needs fixing. All this is included for free if you choose Seagate hard drives. You don't need to pay extra for this service. The next up is limited capacity. Synology Plus series go up to 16 terabyte drives, their Enterprise series go up to 20 terabytes, their SATA SSDs go up to 7 terabytes, and their NVMEs are ridiculous. They go up to 800 gigabytes. If you go with third-party drives, you can get IronWolf Pro 24 terabyte dedicated NAS hard drive. Their Exos series 24 terabytes, WD Gold series 26 terabytes, WD Red Pro 26 terabyte, WD Ultrastar 28 terabytes, or Exos 36 terabytes. Another risk, if Synology lose their customer base and they go out of business, you effectively have bought hard drives that you can't use in other systems. Also, if you outgrow your capacity, if you replace one of those drives or multiple drives, those drives can't be really sold unless you know some other Synology user that could use these drives. You can't put these drives in a Windows machine or somewhere else because they have different firmware. So what are you going to do? Throw them away? The next thing is RMA service, how long it's going to take you to get the replacement drive based on the region you are in. As you know, Synology is not covering every single country in the world. So sometimes you'll need to get that replacement sent through another country. And now with all the taxes and import fees going up, this might be a big trouble for you. With third-party drives like WD and Seagate, you can get a replacement drive within minutes. Go to a local shop or Amazon and you get the same day delivery. Even though you have RAID 5 or RAID 10, when you lose that one drive, it is a ticking time bomb. When the second drive fails, you lose your data. And as you saw earlier, Synology doesn't have enough stock in the channel. But these are my thoughts about drive locking, what could be the consequences if we move towards that. And it's up to you if you want to go down this path or you want to look elsewhere. I hope this was helpful and thank you for watching.